Microphone has a bit of distance.
I have my own roadie.
Are you on the stool?
I've just got it. You just
Okay.
chill, leave it to me.
Is that good? That's
Yep.
good. I'm going to get off that.
Is that good? Hi. Back in 2012, I'd just finished working at Channel 9 and I got a call from the Nielsen people. They do ratings surveys. And they asked if I'd be prepared to be a ratings family. And I've worked in broadcasting my whole life. And my dad worked in broadcasting before that. So the mood in our household has kind of been dependent on the ratings one way or another for a long time. And because I was in between jobs, I could do it. So I was gleeful at this opportunity to act out the most passive-aggressive act of vengefulness known to man by not watching Channel 9 for 3 months. And in the course of thinking about this, I couldn't remember what I was pissed off at them about. I didn't have any beef with anyone. I was just like really bored. You know how when you stop trying to find something, it appears, and when you stop trying to remember something, you remember it, and the next day there was this little 3-car pile-up of thoughts, and this memory came up. You were angry at the Nine Network in general and the newsroom in particular for their role in the dumbing down of the nation. And hot on the heels of that thought was, fuck, you're a pretentious wanker. And after that, wait till you see what's coming down the pike. Within a month, I had to call Nielsen and say I can't do this anymore because it was the second time that month that I needed to rearrange the furniture in the lounge room. And I called them the first time. Like, it's not something that was audio in, audio out. Like, they had to have a proper tech guy come and plug it in. And so the first time I thought maybe that was reasonable. The second time I thought, no, we can't keep doing this because I need to rearrange the furniture with, you know, a lot of frequency. Like, sometimes the kids had come home and their whole bedroom had moved. And people were constantly sort of bumping into furniture in the night because it wasn't there the day before. I've got a bit of a problem with decor. There's this family that I've known for 3 generations. Our parents were best friends, we're best friends, our kids are now like cousins. And I go there once a year for Tomato Day. And it's a really high priority for me to go to the bathroom when I get there because there's a hand-blown glass clown that's been in the same spot for 46 years. And I've thought about it too much. Like, in my 30s... I used to think about that clown and I go, fuck, you know, maybe one day you just get to this phase in your life where you're happy with where everything is. And that must be a really zen state of being. I'm not there yet. When my granny died, her ashes were divided up amongst her 5 children and Mum threw her share in the bin. I'm going to bring it together. I mean, she didn't have a great relationship with Granny, but I reckon that the real reason was that she didn't like the canister that they were in. All my shit in my house is like found on the side of the road or Vergeside collection or hand-me-down. And I just like the challenge of actually having to make a silk purse out of a sow's ear is really wonderful. Like back when my kids were small and my debt was big, it was sort of, I had to do that. I couldn't afford to buy anything matchy-matchy. And so I was constantly taking the kids on curb crawls at Verge collection time, getting them to help me bring shit into the car. This one time on a corner block, I found this really great outdoor umbrella. It was like high quality, timber struts on it. The canvas was great, it wasn't faded. 2 outdoor chairs. And so we're loading it into the car. We're getting the second chair into the car. And we're on this street. And then my son points out that there's a removalist van on that street. So, I mean, I can afford new stuff now, but it's like, where's the fun in that? Anyway, so Mum chucked Granny in the bin, and to be honest, my dad's been in a cupboard for 7 years for sort of the same reason, like the canister's not that great. When he first died, a really good friend of mine rang me on the day that I had to go and pick up his ashes. These are big kind of landmark moments in your adulthood, doing that sort of stuff, and he just checked in to see how I was. And I said that Dad really loved a barbecue, and he once did his friend's wedding. He did all the meat, and so there was this barbecue pit with 7 Weber kettles set up in it. And Dad got so drunk that he fell backwards into the barbecue pit, and afterwards he was known as Dances with Webers. And so I said to this friend of mine, I was thinking about getting a mini Weber barbecue to put Dad's ashes in, and it was just kind of a throwaway line. Anyway, within an hour, my mate showed up with a mini Weber from Barbecues Galore, and so Dad spent a year in a barbecue in the lounge room. But now he's, I'd love to say that it's sort of the irreverence of that finally got to me, but it's not. It just wasn't vibing with the decor. And so he's in this cupboard. It's got a lattice front. It's got, light. He can see out of there. I'm not a complete psychopath. A couple of weeks ago, I drove past this new salvage yard that I've never seen before. It's sort of the retail arm of a junk collection service. So I've been looking for a brass canister to put Dad in for a while, because that would go with everything. Imagine my delight when I walk in and I see at the front door there's a brass canister. I'm like, awesome! And it's not only is it just a brass canister, it's actually a proper urn for cremains, and I've priced those things. They're $200 new. And so I said to the girl, how much for the brass urn? And she said $30. I'm like, fuck yeah! It's like saving $170. And right as I'm no, I picked it up and it was just a little bit too heavy. Do you reckon that's going to stop me? And so right at this moment, my son calls, and he's at that age, you just drop everything when your kid that's moved out of home. And I said, fuck, you're not going to believe it. I found this incredible thing to put grandpa in. It's really stylish, and there's some old bitch in it, but I'm going to have to get rid of her. That's not on me. I had some very poor maternal role modelling around how to deal with cremains. Come on. So I'm telling him that, and he goes, fuck, do you want to get haunted? And I'm like, oh, good point. Just decided there's a woman in there, because if it was a man, the wife would have got it engraved, but there's no engraving. So I take it home, and I'm in the door, I'm telling my daughter, she's 21, oh my God, I've got this amazing thing to put grandpa in, but it's occupied, I've got to get the occupant out. And you young people, and perhaps parents of young people, might identify with the fact that you just kind of realise that their phone is pointed at you in such a way that they're filming you. And that you're about to be on Snapchat or Instagram story. And it's literally only at that moment that I realise I've been a bit strange. And that I might be about to get cancelled. Thankfully, though, the general response was, who the fuck drops Granny off at the salvos? And I've thought about what to do, and I thought to scatter in the ocean, but I don't know, she might not have liked the beach, sand, in the forest, but there's snakes and stuff, and it's sort of, it's literally been a few weeks, and it's become quite a burden. I thought about taking her back, but that just sort of felt too cruel. Anyway, so I thought maybe you could help. I've decided to put her in the garden with my recently deceased dog, and plant some zinnias on top of her. So, I've just shredded the eulogy. So I'm just going to read her a eulogy here tonight. I've totally shredded it. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end it's right. I hope you had the time of your life. Thank you so much.